Here at Tom Watson, we just finished up, I guess, one of Dibbo's famous Terrible Tuesdays. So started this morning with VO2, some VO2 work on the track. Then we go out and do about 8K at Ironman race pace, and then back on the track. So it's like a VO2 sandwich. And then in the pool, it was 5x300s, pretty hard. I was the one that drew the short straw and had to swim in the fast lane. We had quite a few people there, and they needed one person to take it for the team, so that was me. So I was just trying not to get lapped by Morgan the whole time, which I think I successfully stayed out of his way at least. And then, so it was 5x300 and then 5x200 with paddles. And then had a quick coffee and came out here to ride with Jackson. The ride was, the main set was basically 4x5 minutes at Ironman, 5 minutes at 70.3, 5 minutes at threshold, all straight through. So it's an hour of work. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be a very good partner today with Jack. I had good legs on the first round of 15, then flatted right when so we were going to just swap who took the lead, so the other person could kind of practice sitting back 12 meters. And I ended up flatting, plugged it, and then the plug blew, and then plugged it again, and then it blew again, and then finally had to do a proper stop and change the tube. So got the work done, but it took a little longer than it should have. We are in the final build to Lake Placid. It's not been the smoothest road that I hoped for, but that's the way it goes, especially when you're not a spring chicken anymore. I came out of Boulder 70.3 on a pretty high note, obviously. I won Chattanooga, second in Boulder, and then had a pretty decent gap to be leading the overall standings, and was going into a week off, and so that was great. And as I talked a little bit about in my last video, I planned on taking Sunday completely off, but my knee swelled up a little bit, and so I spun a little bit just to try to get some of the inflammation out, and then really took it very easily for the next through Friday. And then I did the 4 hours of aero testing on Saturday. So that was basically the 7-day mark was my first hard effort. So that was supposed to make the body feeling great, everything good moving forward. And by the time I got to the first run on Sunday, it was just a 60-minute easy run. I felt pretty good, but afterwards my knee got a little bit stiff again. Didn't think anything of it. Got through a decent Monday and Tuesday, and then got through, then we hit the ground running. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were hard days. I did a hard session on the bike on Wednesday, a double run, both hard runs on Thursday, and knee got a little stiff after that. And again, woke up Friday and it was okay, so carried on, did a hard ride Friday, hard ride and a run on Saturday, and then got to Sunday and did my kind of typical, month before an Ironman long run in the morning, swim in between, and then a second 10K run in the afternoon. And that night, my knee was the size of a basketball, so it swelled up quite a bit. And very fortunate, was able to kind of get my team behind me moving on Monday morning and ended up getting an MRI on Tuesday morning and found out that I ruptured a Baker's cyst in the run on at Boulder. So that's not something that's the most common. A lot of people have a Baker's cyst. They don't rupture very often, and they don't often rupture because somebody's running. We'll just say it's because I ran so hard that I ruptured the cyst. But it definitely had something to do with the uneven surfaces and probably torqued it a little bit wrong at some point. I didn't notice anything during the race, but I kind of shut everything out when I'm running and don't typically feel a lot of pain. So that's not that unusual. But that meant that I've had to kind of scramble and figure out what to do and how to approach this build up to Lake Placid. And given there was really nothing structurally wrong, it's just dealing with the pain and the inflammation right now, I didn't feel like I needed to pull out of the Lake Placid start list by any means. I still think I'm going to be able to get there healthy, but it just means I have to be a little bit more cautious. And so that's, the unusual road I'll have into an Ironman. I've certainly had that in the past and raced pretty well. And so I'm not happy about it, but I'm not terribly concerned I've been able to get in some pretty hard runs so far. Sunday will be a good test. I'll do my normal Sunday workouts then, and then hopefully if there's no setbacks after couple long days of running, then I think we're in the clear. But otherwise, we'll just play it by ear. Even if I've got the run fitness, I've been able to get in a lot of the training that I need to do. It hasn't been perfect on the run. The bike isn't affected. Swim isn't affected. So if anything, I'm swimming a little bit better because my run volume's a little bit lower, but I planned on doing a couple really high run volume weeks, and I won't have that. The good thing is with the inflammation, you want to run at incline, and Lake Placid has a lot of incline, so I've been doing a lot of uphill running, which helps prep for the race anyway. So a little bit of a different lead in than I would have written out on paper, but again, it's not the first time I've had a few hiccups in the training. I've been pretty fortunate this year. This is the first time since 2021 that I've had to change my training at all. That's not true. I crashed at Ironman Texas, but I've had a really good stretch this year, especially been healthy. And so if this is the worst that I have all year, I'm sitting pretty good. Leading into Lake Placid, obviously I have a lot at stake, right? I'm sitting at the top of the Ironman Pro Series. I very much want to stay there or stay near the top by the end of the year, and so I need to have a good Ironman score. Ideally, I have a good enough score that it kind of passes the Texas score, and that's going to take a lot. It's going to take a great effort. There's a stellar field there, as you would expect. All these Pro Series races are definitely championships. You have to approach them like they're championship races, which is really hard. You have to approach every race like it is an A priority race, and that means you have 5 or 6 A priority races this year, and that's hard mentally, it's hard physically, but the people that are able to handle that are the ones that are going to be in the top 5 at the end of the year. And so hopefully that I'm able to manage that and carry on the momentum that I ended the build with leading into the second half of the year. Coming into Lake Placid, I've got Jackson Landry here, who's sitting number 2 in the rankings right now. He's also doing Lake Placid, so we're training together a bit, and just hanging out some. He's a cool dude. We've trained together in the past quite a bit. It's another cool thing about the sport is right now you have the top 2 people in the standings training together, just trying to make each other better. He might say something different, but I think that we train well together and we kind of bring out the better side of each other. We're not trying to kill each other in training. We're just trying to help each other be better on the day. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to bring us to the best races. I really believe that. That's what I find is really important in a good training partner. There's people that I don't like to train with because it feels like you get into a bit of a measuring competition too often, and that's not really what it's a training partner is supposed to be. That's supposed to be somebody that helps you execute your sessions just a little bit better or a little bit cleaner, not somebody that makes you do stupid things or makes you put too much mentally into a training session, and that's going to take away from race day. So I'm really happy to have him here again. It's always fun to have somebody to train with down in the Rock. There's not a lot of opportunities to train with people when I'm here, so excited about that, and hopefully that helps both of us have a great day when we get to Lake Placid. He's a guy that I tend to come out of the water with frequently, and I think when both of us have good swims, we come out of the water together. There's been times when I come out in front of him and times when he comes out in front of me, and that usually means the other person just didn't execute well. We're pretty similar in that regard. He's usually a little bit better on the bike, and I'm usually a little bit better on the run. So when it's that type of situation, it doesn't, I feel like we can kind of remove the egos when we're training together, because it's not like, we're going to have a huge impact on each other's race after the swim. It's, my mindset is hopefully I see him in the last 10K, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, and that's kind of how what makes it work. I think I trained really well with Tim O'Donnell for the same reason. I thought he was way better in the water than I was, so I was never going to see him until the last 10K of the run, even if we biked pretty similar, and so that that made it a good situation to have just quality training and kind of be able to remove the ego out of it. That's really the situation leading into Lake Placid. I'll get there Tuesday of race week, and hopefully the knee continues to play nicely and trend in the direction that it is, and I'm able to put together a good race. I love the course. I'm excited that it's going to be the 20th year there. I think I heard Mike Riley is going to be announcing. He knew that guy couldn't stay in retirement, so he came back, and hopefully he's bringing me home on a positive day. But yeah, we'll have to try to execute the best day possible and see how everything shakes out in what's going to be a really quality field, and on a very honest course that's going to hopefully break up and put a lot of individual efforts out there. So here with Jackson, who's just decided to go full in on the Ironman series, and he's done one full in his life and is about to do 3 fulls in 4 months.
Potentially.
So
hopefully.
How do you think you'll manage?
Well, okay. I guess I walked into that one. I think I'm going to manage well, because hear me out. I've been consistent at the half distance. I've done back-to-back. I've even done 2 in the same weekend and done well, better in the second one. So I think I can I think my strength is recovering and building back up to the next one better than most. So I think I'm going to handle it really well. That being said, I can't say for sure because I don't have the 30 halves that you've done in my legs to prove it. But I think the series is built for me. But also probably would have been smart to do Texas and give myself a little bit of a better spread. So yeah, I think I've got it. We'll see. First we got to focus on Placid, because I said that the over-under's 10 minutes I'll need on you on the run is probably maybe the 50th percentile. What do you think? What do you think on that for betting odds?
10 minutes is probably a pretty good number.
Okay, so when it's 20, I'll be happy. All right.
So do you guys want to do some sort of like gentleman wager for Lake Placid?
Well, the thing is, whoever does better is probably, that's going to help them a lot in the series, so they're already getting a lot out of that. So we got to do something though. Whoever loses has to do Joe Skipper's beer mile.
That's it.
Do you think he'll let us do it with non-alcoholic?
Yeah, definitely not. I've done 1 beer mile in my life, and it was right before we didn't qualify for Kona Beer Mile back when that was a thing, and there's never been a bigger motivation to qualify for Kona than having to do the beer mile and then watch everybody else race the next day. So I kind of pledged to never do one again after that, but yeah, maybe that's a big enough punishment.
Well, we can leave that one to the fans in the comments down below. What do you think should be the gentleman's wager? Low dollar value. We're not buying each other a car here. Let's whoever beats the other guy gets what.